Welcome to the station, Kentucky's conservative outpost. Louisville's at a crossroads. We face the most important mayor's race in our lifetime. We can either continue to decline with the same old one-party leadership, or we can try a new approach with new leadership. We can be Detroit with a hollowed-out, city with endless social problems, with division and poverty and crime and graffiti. Or we can be a city known for renewal and unity, economic flourishing, and safety. Cities run by one-party Democrat politicians fail. They're not sustainable. People leave. Their ideas and policies do not line up with reality, and quite frankly, they ruin it for everyone. We need police. Bad policing is not the cause of dysfunction in our distressed communities. It's bad family formation. Left-wing politicians ignore and work against the truth that children need a mom and a dad in the home to give healthy boundaries and guidance. To the extent that we don't recognize that fact, we need police to clean up the mess and welfare to raise the kids. A city needs to attract business, to build a tax base so we can all live in a nice town. Safety is key. Also a police force that's engaged and professional. We also need a business-friendly city. We need a family-safe city. We need low taxes, efficient and dynamic government. And unfortunately, none of that is offered by big city Democrat administrations. However, we have a great opportunity to try something new. Louisville can show the country the way to renew a city. We could hire an experienced, successful mayor from our own area who's brought people together to move a city forward. We're very fortunate to have such a candidate in this race. So this is our moment, Louisville. We could either stop being an embarrassment to the country and watch people and businesses continue to leave, or we can try new leadership and ideas. One-party Democrat towns have no new ideas. It's time to vote in a Republican mayor for no other reason than just to try something new. The one party that runs this town, that allowed our city to fall apart, does not deserve to win this election. So with that, we want to welcome you to the show. In today's show, we're just going to talk about the mayor's race. Because honestly, guys, this is really the most important race that we have to deal with in our lifetime when it comes to the city. And honestly, I haven't kept up with it as much as I need to. And so this show is going to be kind of a learning experience for me and I hope for you guys.
Yes, sir.
And but I want to introduce my co-host. This is Trey Volts and Rick Allen. And so,
hey, Rick.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Doc?
Yeah, Rick is our celebrity guest here. He is known as the Blackheart Conservative. He's been on the air in Louisville, WGTK, and WLOV and LOU for, 10 years now?
Since '08 for WLLV.
Yeah.
On Pastor Stevenson's Values Coalition program, and then my program on with WGTK 970 AM The Answer.
Yeah.
Is really what it's called now. I think I've been in about 10 or 11 years.
Right. Well, we're privileged to have you because you got a great voice and people have a lot of respect for what you have to say. And real quick too, just so the audience knows what this show. This is our first episode, so we wanted to kind of explain what we're doing. The station is it's a local, state-oriented political commentary show. It's tied into the Kentucky's Voice news network that we're launching.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, there's not a lot of local television, local news and commentary from a conservative perspective, right? And so we saw the need for that, and we thought, well, why not? Let's give it a shot. No one else is going to do it. Let's go ahead and go on the air and talk about things from a perspective that we relate to. And let's face it, this country's pretty divided down the middle. So at least half this city or half this area would tend to agree with us, but their voices are not being heard. So
they're not being heard.
That's why we're doing this show. So Trey,
do you get a lot of calls on your show? You get a lot of feedback from the show. People that listen to it don't have another way of hearing your message any other way, or conservative message. On
the Values Coalition program, we get some on an active day. We might monologue might last somewhere between 15 to 30 minutes. If it was a big topic, it would last about 30 minutes, and then we can get 8 or 9 or 10 calls in the next 30 minutes.
So what's the big hot button issue right now? In your mind, from your audience,
what I talked about today is I had a friend text me the story that was about Candace Owens and Kanye West with their White Lives Matter T-shirts.
Tell me about it.
Well, it's causing quite a stir in the black community, and I probably conservatives probably know more about it than moderates or liberals, because conservatives caught on to it and they were talking about it yesterday. But they have these shirts that say White Lives Matter, and she did an editorial explaining how, in a way, Black Lives Matter actually means just the opposite, that our lives don't matter.
Even though you're saying they do.
Yeah, because the policies and the that they promote and the activities that they promote and push are the bottom line is that we become more and more ostracized from the rest of the culture, and we become it becomes we police have been so battered down that now our communities are less safe than they ever were.
Okay, but didn't we just go through a thing in Louisville specifically?
And so because the outcome of that is that our lives must be less.
Yeah, but isn't the whole, so when we went through the Breonna Taylor stuff here in Louisville and the riots that went on after that, there was a big push to talk about how Black Lives Matter. I mean, the whole thing is based around how a Black Lives Matter.
But that's what you call deception.
By who?
By Black Lives Matter, the organization itself.
Okay.
I mean, we've come to know over the last year or so that somewhere between $60 and $80 million have been absconded with, that was collected during the summer of, like the mayor in Portland said, the summer of love, or was it Seattle, Washington?
Yeah, Chaz up in Seattle, Washington.
Summer of love.
Well, Kanye has officially declared Black Lives Matter to be a scam, and it's over. If you looked at his tweet yesterday or whatever it was basically said it's a big scam. No one believes it anymore, and it's over. And he said thank you very much. It was a great summary of the whole.
I wish nobody did believe it anymore, but I met a young lady yesterday who was concerned about equity, all the buzzwords, and I didn't have time to spend any time talking to her.
Yeah, the whole social justice stuff.
Yeah,
it's like a cult.
The whole pill.
It's like a cult.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you all brought this up, because our city has been really consumed with this issue, probably more than just about any other in this city or in this country, because of the Breonna Taylor issues and of course BLM and all the rioting we had, and it's boiled down to a real key decision we have to make in the city. What direction we want to go? What sort of leadership do we want to have to help take the city in the right direction?
The Breonna Taylor situation is back front and center because there's an effort for that decision not to be made before the election, because it's thought of as it would be harmful to Democrats.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we'll get into that. There's an interesting story about how the candidates are sparring back and forth about that issue. Do they want the Department of Justice report to be released before or after the campaign? Well, those that say
I want the truth to be known.
One wants the truth to be known.
Because it's relevant. It's
exactly right.
It's more relevant before the election.
Exactly
Even if
right.
It starts more riots?
Yeah, I think the truth needs to be...
The truth is that important to you all, that even if it started more riots in the city, it's worth it.
Why would it start more riots? I haven't heard anybody but you say that.
No, but I'm just saying, I mean, say the result wasn't something that the majority of the population agreed with.
Well, it doesn't matter whether truth has got to be truth.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
We're getting ready to make a decision for the next 4 years for the mayor of the city of Louisville.
Yes, right.
The information does nobody any good.
That's right. Well, let's
wait
talk
until
about
after
that.
the decision's been made.
Let's go back into the race a bit and talk about just Louisville as a whole and the demographic. I also want to introduce Evan. Evan's our assistant producer in the control room. He's going to help pull up some things for us. And so let's talk about the city. what is the landscape like for a mayor's race? Louisville is predominantly a Democrat town. There are more Democrats registered than Republicans. Greenberg and all the other Democratic candidates that ran for office in the primary, if you combine all their votes, it's almost 2-1 what the Republican candidate Bill DeRoof got in his primary. So you look at that, you go, well, my goodness, is there even a chance for a Republican to win in this city? And I don't know the answer to that question. I'd like to really dive into that, but I do see an opportunity. I mean, do you guys feel like if it's ever going to happen, it would happen now?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Why?
I became a conservative and a Republican because I saw that as the only hope for my city, for my community. What has been happening when I was in my 20s, I could get up in the morning 20 minutes before work, get dressed and drive to my job and punch in 5 minutes early. Now, if you live in West Louisville, it's probably, if you're driving, it's probably a 35 or 40-minute drive. And if you have to ride the bus, it may be a 3-hour drive to work and a 3-hour ride home.
Yeah.
Because opportunities doesn't exist in West Louisville anymore. One of the reasons why I love the idea that Rand Paul had back when he first became a senator, I think it was called freedom zones. So I forget what they were called, but they were, if you wanted to start a business in a depressed area, and it wasn't based on race, it was based on economic status. If you were willing to bring your business in and found it in that area, you were willing to hire people from there. Now, don't bring your workforce from more affluent parts of the city.
Right.
Hire people from there
or from other countries.
Yeah, you would. I think it was his suggestion was 5% corporate tax on those.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a great idea. It is Bill DeRoof behind a policy like that. Is he? Okay. Didn't know
just sell your products in West Louisville.
So what you're saying is you became a Republican because you saw the Democratic policies are really gutting the black community. Right. And so there we go. And so do you feel like
back 10 years later?
Do you feel like
jobs were gone?
Do you feel like other African Americans in this city are starting to question their? Are they?
I think there are quite a few.
I mean, there's always people on the right or in Republican circles have always hoped for that, and they feel like they have a good case to make on why people should vote for them. But is it really sinking in now?
Dionne Warwick used to have a song.
Are you going to quote Dionne Warwick?
Said,
yeah, that'd be good.
yeah, wishing and hoping.
Wishing and hoping.
Planning and scheming.
That's right.
They just don't get the job done. You can't be wishing and hoping. If you're conservative, you're Republican. If you're conservative, Republican, conservative, Christian, quit wishing and hoping.
Yeah. What do they got to do? Well, what needs to happen?
Get to work. Quit after you pray. Get to work.
What? I mean, what needs to happen specifically to do outreach that would make?
What I've always prescribed over the years is go let your faith guide you. And if you're a person that's not of faith, then let your heart guide you.
Let your heart guide
Same
you.
place.
Yeah.
But what you do is you go down and you do a little research and find out some things that are going on in the community, and you go and you join on to those and you offer to support them in what they're doing.
All right.
Jack Kemp said, people don't care what you know. Right. Until they know that you care.
That you care. Yeah, right. Well said.
So once people become convinced, like this guy's pretty decent, or she's a pretty good lady. If elections coming up, they'll ask you who you're gonna vote for. Right. And then you get the chance to tell them, and they already know you're a friend.
So do you think Bill's doing that in this campaign? Is he actually reaching out like he should, or what are your thoughts? Have you looked into that? I'm just curious. I don't know.
He doesn't have much name recognition as far as I can tell in the black community.
Yeah,
and that's which is a problem with that most conservatives.
But does Greenberg?
Yeah, he's a Democrat.
Okay, just because he's a Democrat.
But the party is down there.
The party has recognition. The name's down. Okay.
Well, his name's got recognition because they come to the West End.
Trey, do you think there's a chance here? Is it realistic?
I want to go back to something you said earlier. Yeah. I was thinking about What was the statistic you gave in the primary for the Democrats?
Hey, Evan, can you pull those up? So how many registered Democrats versus Republicans in the
Voted.
Jefferson County?
In the primary.
Well, just how many registered and then how many voted?
Okay.
So can you pull that up?
Well, and the reason I'm asking is because everything that we've said and everything that we've talked about has been very much a.
Here we go.
Okay.
Keep talking, but here's the Republican primary election.
Okay.
30,000, roughly. What's the total at the bottom there? I can't see it. 38,000.
Looks like a 38,474.
Okay, and then the Democrat total is what, 80-some thousand?
82.
82. So it's
Okay.
2-1. 2-1.
So if that's the case, and we're just talking about real numbers here,
yeah.
and we believe that, according to what you said at the very beginning of the show, that Democratic cities don't work.
Yeah.
Well, they're working for somebody, because 2-1 voted for Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, there's more registered. You have to vote in your party line. I understand all that.
Yeah.
But if people were that upset with the way Fisher is running things right now, which he's had police chief problems, he's had police problems, he's had riot problems, he's had money problems across the metro, not just in the inner cities or not everywhere. And if everybody's that disgusted, you'd have thought that people would start voting Republican.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
Well,
so
I
when
don't
you
think
ask
it's an
the
issue
question,
then. Yeah.
okay, but you asked the question, he talked about flipping at some point and becoming a current. Rick talked about becoming a conservative because that was the only thing that would save the city.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm simply pointing out that must not be the driving force now.
That's right.
Saving the city.
Saving the city.
I would agree. I believe that there's an element in the Democrat Party that is so radical.
Yep.
They want to see they want to see everything flipped.
Yeah. They'd rather see it burn down than go the other way.
No, that's not the average person on the street,
Yeah.
But I believe that there are a good many people that are running the party. That's where they are.
Yeah.
Well, and I would say that
and they control the money. They
do control the money.
They control the opportunity.
But people that whine and
people
complain
don't cross them.
that don't vote and don't make their voice heard on election day are as much of a problem too. They can sit back and complain about everything, but you do need to vote at some point and actually try to make a difference, right?
Well,
but going back to the original question, I'm just saying from a standpoint of if the city's going to change, then you have to have the people behind you that want to change the city. I don't know that that's there. So when you ask the very simple question of does he have a shot? Well, I mean, mathematically, no.
If you look at the primaries, yeah, exactly. But how many people on the Democratic side would stick with Greenberg? Maybe there's at least half those votes are voting for other folks on the Democratic side. So
that's true.
Maybe they may come over to Bill.
That's true.
And also there's a lot of people that don't vote in primaries because they don't pay attention to the primaries. So there could be a lot of disaffected voters that are concerned about the issue that could rally and maybe make a change. So I don't know. I think if there's ever a chance, people are finally paying attention to their local politics.
I agree.
More so than ever. They realize how important local politics. Your mayor, your governor, your state representative, your school board, people who run your school board. That's very important. I mean, we got these parents showing up at school boards, basically, shouting down these.
And it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, but people care now enough to where.
Yes.
So maybe there's a chance, and I just encourage people to really think about this election. If you don't vote, go register. Go look at this. Vote one way or the other. just to make the city needs our engagement right now more than ever.
Amen.
And this one party model of running big cities is a death knell to the city. The people that care about safe living, about prosperous living, they're leaving.
Okay,
I know
explain
personally.
But explain to me your one-party situation.
Because it's a Democrat-run city, period. And you've got Democrat councilmen with the most
metro
seats, metro councilman, and you have a mayor. And it's been like that for what? 30 years, 40 years?
Long time.
No, 60 years.
1965,
Yeah.
we had a Republican.
I got a.
And it's not a Republican-Democrat thing.
There-
Republicans aren't the answer.
there
It's
was
just something
yeah.
different.
There was something, either Nikita Khrushchev or a member of his party when they came to visit America back in '59, I think it was. I think he went to visit Disneyland, and I think he made a statement there that the American businessman would sing us the rope, sell them the rope on which to hang them.
It's true.
And there are so many people.
It's true.
Use my show on Sunday night as an example. I'm a conservative. Conservative businesses don't want to support me because as a conservative, I'm probably more boisterous as a conservative than most local personalities.
Right.
They don't want their product associated with what they believe to be the majority, because the media's got them convinced that that liberals will boycott you.
Yeah,
they will take your business away. They will cancel you.
That's right.
And
Cancel culture is a real thing.
they would rather stab themselves in the heart.
That's right.
So to speak. And their point of view, watch their own point of view die, than take a chance on losing business.
That's exactly right.
And some people, that's not everybody, but that's one of the problems I've had with getting support from my program. And on the other end of it, African Americans assume conservatives are going to support it.
That's right.
Conservatives assume because I'm African American are going to support the program.
Right.
And American Family Association has basically been bearing the burden.
Yeah.
For these many years.
To support your program. Well, a lot of businesses don't want to be just overtly political anyway, unless it's on the left, because the reason why they do, it's the reason why they put the LGBT flag up or the BLM sticker.
Politically correct.
It's political, and it's a lot of times not even the business owners that believe in that stuff. They just put it up just so the mob will attack them. It's almost like a mafia thing, or like the Passover in the Bible. You better put the blood on the door, or else the death angel's going to come by and take your firstborn. Well, you better put the LGBT flag up in your window, or else you're going to be targeted and canceled and all this. So there's more fear that drives that sort of support than anything else. But traditionally, businesses don't want to get too political because they're trying to sell goods and services to everybody. Yeah. So it's a strange conversation. Plus big business is actually turning more left.
There will be no market.
That's right.
Unless people who benefit from the market support the market.
Yeah.
And do it in a truthful way.
That's right. And there won't be a town left if nobody lives here to sell anything to. So they gotta figure that out.
Hence, Khrushchev said, "You'll sell me the rope to hang you."
Exactly right. Well, let's do this. Let's go to the see what the different mayors or different candidates are proposing. What are their platforms? I'm just curious about what Greenberg stands for and what DeRoof stands for. So we're on Greenberg's website here, and these are his issues that matter. So a safer, stronger Louisville. A more just Louisville.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what does more just mean?
It's got to be social justice stuff. That's that's all I can say. He's responding to the whole drama we had for the past 2 years.
I don't see how, when you begin to delineate what type of justice you're talking about,
right,
you're no longer talking about justice.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
You're talking about something that's not even. You're putting your finger on the scale. And you're saying in the name of this particular type of justice, which is going to unbalance it somewhere else on the scale.
That's right. Justice
so you're not talking about justice. You're not talking about rule of law. You're not talking about equal protection under the law. All that goes out the window as soon as you start defining what kind of justice you're talking about.
That's right. Because true justice in any society is going to cause, unfortunately, unequal outcomes, right? Because reality is,
if you start manipulating justice,
he's
saying fairly,
you'll have unequal outcomes, right? True justice is you look at things objectively, and you let the law adjudicate that, and so the social justice movement is basically saying we want equal outcomes regardless of who's right or wrong.
Right.
And so, like you said, they tip the scale.
But wait a second. Go back. Hold on. You said it will have unfair outcomes if we do it justly. But if everybody knows the rules you're playing by, then it's fair.
But as soon as you begin to define the kind of justice you're talking about, you start changing the rules.
That's right.
The rules start floating around in the midair, and you reach out and you grab that kind on this.
That's right.
This kind of justice for this situation, that kind of justice for this situation.
So
Yeah,
what's a
that's right.
mayor have anything to do with this?
Because he runs the police
He
force.
runs the police department in the
So-
city.
And the DA, and somebody that's, well, I guess.
So
the
you're
DA 's a
suggesting in Louisville that just so we're all on the same page,
Mhm.
you're suggesting in Louisville that your current mayor has politicized the police and the DA to get the
Absolutely.
things
He
that
told them to
wants.
stand down during 2020.
separate- Sure did.
He told them to stand down.
And people,
And people, I would go down there and buy me dinner. Buy me dinner. I would buy myself
dinner.
dinner.
yeah,
And I would go down and sit by the statue
uh-huh.
of Jefferson,
Jeff-
whoever right there in the middle of the
Or
park.
Yeah.
King Louis.
King
or
Louis.
Jefferson.
Yeah, no, he's gone.
Oh,
He's
he's
down.
gone.
He's down at. He was down at the corner.
Poor King Louis.
I'm talking about the one in the middle.
Or King Louis, he just didn't
Yeah,
make
poor
it.
King Louis. He didn't make it. He lost. First they got his arm, then they got
Yeah,
him.
did he got him.
Painted him up.
Yeah, but I would sit there and eat my barbecue, and I would watch that whole summer.
Hmm.
And
During the riots?
yeah, during the
You're sitting down there eating barbecue.
It was great
Yeah.
sport.
Watching
Yeah.
riots.
well, yeah, I didn't.
Rick.
Look at that punch.
I'm still crazy after all these
Yeah,
years.
no, I guess so. Yeah, no, that's.
I
the
go down there and watch.
definition of it.
Now, most
Burning
of the
the
time,
buildings down.
most of the time in
bullets flying.
down at at the Jefferson Park, it was just people. A lot of it was almost like a festival.
Yeah.
So it wasn't very little opportunity for violence down there. But there were some things that could have happened if a lot of regular citizens had not been long suffering. I saw a bunch of guys throwing a football down in the and they did it day after day, throwing a football down in the middle of 6th and Jefferson. Okay.
In the middle of the street, middle of the day.
Yeah, and no permit, traffic going through, trying to follow the traffic lights.
So back.
And they're running back and forth throwing this football.
So will we have a more
Anybody
just
said
city?
anything to them, they would get in their face. What?
So will we have?
What you gonna do about
Will
it?
we have a more just city with this approach if we add the social justice movement and all this stuff?
I mean, you won't have
to
a more
politics?
just city unless the people want it.
Yeah.
Because the
Wow.
second they don't want it, the second they believe, before anybody knew whether it was true or not with the Breonna Taylor situation, that thing went south.
Yeah.
And so before all the facts were in, people made a decision to do something. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying whether it's wrong or right. History, will tell that story.
And so then maybe that was when the battle for justice in that situation went away.
Well, a mob justice started.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
not. But a mob can never create justice. We're
And yet
playing
they
with
tried.
words. They tried, but it wasn't. It couldn't come out justice.
No, but you
It
had
had
a
to-
mayor. You had the
it-
current mayor. So the question is,
Because
his
the-
question. I understand, Rick, but his question was, will a Greenberg mayor make any difference than Fisher did?
No, you'll just do the same thing Fisher did.
Right.
Because he's going to take marching orders from the same people that run the same Democrat Party as Fisher did.
So
Which ends up demoralizing the police and
Yeah,
and the city.
the
just
police are still going to be
fails.
they're still going to be stood down. They're still going
as
to.
opposed to what? Busting heads?
Well, no. But
if
our,
it- look,
our
what
would you
police
have had
do
them
not
do?
that.
Wait, hey, look,
Our police. do not
There's-
do that
That's
stuff.
right. That's what I'm saying. They're, not gonna-
they weren't.
they're the citizens.
It's
When,
enforcing the
when
law, that's what
somebody
they should
is
be
setting fires, when they break into Eddie Merlot's
Yeah.
and run customers out
Yeah.
and threaten people's lives,
They should be arrested.
they should be arrested. And if
Yes.
to arrest them, you have to bust their head.
That's right.
No, I get it.
sometimes.
I understand that.
And
I'm saying they
so-
didn't do that.
Well, let's go
Yeah,
back.
exactly.
Let's
so
go
what
back-
is he going to do any different, Greenberg?
Well,
You're saying nothing.
I'm not voting for Greenberg.
I know.
I'm not supporting Greenberg.
I understand that.
I'm not
just-
saying who I'm supporting. I'm just telling you who I'm not supporting.
Yeah, right. Well, we all agree that this approach to justice is not really healthy for cities right now. I mean,
I agree, but your
you-
question was, can they make a difference? And all I'm suggesting is, unless people want there to be a difference,
Right.
then one person or a system
Right now,
can fail either way.
the leadership of the Democratic Party do not care.
I understand that. I'm just saying, if you got,
They do not care what the
Okay.
people want.
I understand that, but if a Republican would have been in office when that would have happened, I'm saying it probably still would have happened.
Maybe not. We'll never know because
never know.
I don't know.
because
Well,
we
I don't
didn't-
think the police
we
would have
didn't
been stood down.
We didn't have a mayor that would pull his pants up
Yeah.
That's right.
and tighten his belt
That's right. And say we're not going to let
and
our
say
city
we're not
get
going to allow
destroyed.
this to happen.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly right. So
Because
I think that,
if he had done that, there are people who did stuff that
Yeah.
would not have done it.
right, exactly. So a more just Louisville to me under Greenberg's
What does that
campaign.
mean?
I think it's a city that has more boarded up shops and people leaving is quite honestly
That very well could be.
because I want real justice, which is blind, and I don't the justice we've seen out of this city the past year or so has not been blind, and it causes a real demoralization. Okay, we have affordable housing is a big factor there, which we need to do that, and
Maybe they can lower the interest rates.
yeah, maybe we can maybe we can
Yeah, well,
help the city.
if you start, if there's so much that the average person thinks.
that
By
the
not
politicians
teaching government,
control.
we have so many people in our country that don't understand our form of
Yeah, I
government.
think
They literally
politicians
believe
control
that the
interest rates,
president of the United States is really a king,
right.
Well,
and that now
some would argue that he is.
Yeah, he acts like it now.
Some
yeah.
would argue that he is.
Yeah,
That's right. And affordable housing. I mean, we have a real housing problem, and it's nationwide. But
Yeah.
this city's also kind of
You can't-
busting
you
busting
can't
at the
just lower
seams.
the-
There's too many people in Louisville right now. Let's just face it. This city has overgrown its infrastructure. It's overgrown its housing, and for a lot of reasons. I mean, we're kind of booming on one level. The warehouse business has drawn a lot of jobs in, but at the same time, I just wonder how many people in the city are really from this city. It's like or from this country, and so. The city gets to be kind of crazy.
When I was a kid, my mama told me there were 100,000 people in Louisville, Kentucky.
Right.
Now, we're somewhere between 750,000 and 800,000.
Yeah,
Right.
there's some
Right.
that could be closer to 1 million.
So it seems to me that there's a bunch of people that ain't from here
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
in that 60-year period.
We're drawing in a lot of people, and good or bad. I'm all about immigration, about legal immigration, but I think we have a lot of illegal immigration that's
Yeah.
causing housing issues. And but anyway, yeah. A little segue here. I think one of the positive signs we have is we have a strong immigration from the Cuban community, and I tell you what, they are not messing around with this stuff. They're really looking at this. This drama we had these past couple of years and go, hold on, we kind of left a country that espoused the same sort of silliness we're hearing from these activists and these politicians.
Yes.
And actually,
Right.
a good lady, a great friend of mine, will come up to me and goes, Mr. Tom, what is going on? I left this stuff. This is just like communism. This is stuff I was taught in Havana.
Yeah.
And she honestly said, I'm not making this up, folks. And so I think you have a real strong positive impact there with that particular demographic in the
During
city.
the summer of 2020, they went up on East Market Street.
That's right.
And went after
protected
La
that restaurant.
Bodegita.
Yes, exactly. Protected
And
that restaurant.
the people in La Bodegita, I think it's a family-run
Mm-hmm.
gig.
Yeah,
you
they
know.
called their friends. The whole Cuban community came out and said,
Yeah, and they-
BLM, you're not going to destroy this restaurant.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
And we will not bow.
BLM came
Yeah.
in and told them, we're going to shut you down, and we're going to do this, that, and the other.
Unless you pay us a
Unless
bunch
you
of money. Yeah, right.
pay us a certain amount of
Protection racket. Yeah.
money, and all your employees have to go through sensitivity training
Right.
and all of this.
In other words,
I have a
And the
indoctrination,
dude from
struggle
from La Bodegita told them, said, "No, he ain't.
Yeah.
I have a
Just
question.
know
I
he ain't."
That's right. Yeah.
have a real question for
Yeah.
Rick. Just
Yeah.
hear me out for a second.
Yeah.
The BLM, this whole movement, and the BLM. Is there like a website where people sign up for this? I
There
mean, we
used to
keep
be.
on referring to them as an organization that's like funded and is like taking
It's
in
funded.
members.
It's
and-
funded.
I
But
know,
it-
but do the average people that are running around saying they're part of BLM, are they actually a part of it? Is
No, they just kind of lock onto it and show it when they have an event.
Yeah. It's just
Okay.
most folks are
We
just
have been
social
on
media
the
motivated.
Values Coalition program. We have been. We had a past co-host who's passed away. His name is Andy Hodges.
Yeah.
And Andy Hodges and I were reporting on BLM in 2012 and 2013, whenever it was they popped up. And we went to their website and we talked about directly from the website what they were promoting and pushing, which was socialism and communism,
Yeah.
and a model of the family that did not include fathers. and a model for government they expressed and promoted a feminine model of government.
Exactly,
in other words,
exactly what it is. Hey, can we drop Evan's mic in the back? We're getting a lot of feedback in the IEPs. But let's move on to the next topic because I want to get to Bill too. So we've got stronger schools. So in other words, let's give our schools over to the teachers unions and let them continue to control it, and they can sit at home while the pandemic is going on and still get paid, and the kids and parents have to deal with that. So yeah, stronger schools, right? In other words, stronger teacher unions. Is Louisville that works for everyone? Okay, I guess that's good. I mean, we need more business in this town, for sure. Greener city, yeah, of course. Yeah, whatever.
Well, say something.
Yeah, the whole environmental movement is just a bunch of hooey. It's another cult.
I wasn't listening. I was hearing something in my ear.
Right. Greener cities, transparency and cooperation in metro government. Well, we've got an interesting response to that Bill has about that.
I can go for that.
Yeah. So
if they really mean transparency.
If they really mean transparency, why don't they allow the DOJ report about the Breonna Taylor situation to come out before the election? No, they don't want to show that.
That's not transparency.
That's not transparency.
Transparency is only what's good for Democrats.
That's exactly right. In this town, in a one-party Democrat town like Louisville, that's exactly right.
You said they said stronger schools.
Yeah.
We have been working. The Values Coalition has been working since 2008 or 9.
Yeah.
To get charter schools and parental choice.
Please, Louisville.
For our children.
Please, Kentucky. Please let that happen.
And the Democrat Party, the teachers unions, and most. I hesitate to say most of the teachers because a lot of teachers support.
Yeah. Well, the good teachers do. The good teachers do.
But they can't say anything about it.
They can't say anything. Good teachers do because they'll get paid more,
They'll help you write your speech, but they don't want no credit for it. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They want to teach the subject that they said that they went to college to learn, their major, but they're being required to do a whole bunch of convincing of kids about their pronouns.
Do you think
that's right?
Just to touch on schools real quick here, do you think that charter schools are the answer?
Yeah, I think they would be. They can be part of a problem too.
Well, as long as they're
because
taxpayer-funded.
any parent can develop a charter school. If you're a radical parent, probably the school you would chart, and and other parents that would come alongside you would be people that agree with you. So if you want to raise your children to be radicals, I guess you could.
Well, but in charter schools, I think is one step.
But for the most part, most people that are for school choice are people that want to return their children to a real education and not indoctrination by political entities that control the teachers unions and the boards of education.
So Tom,
charter schools are just one element of it. School choice is I think the broader approach to this, because I don't care if they launch charter schools or not. They ought to just let the parents have the money, the taxpayer funded education funds that normally go to public schools. Give it to the parent. Give it to the parent. Then let them choose whatever school they want to go to.
Right.
We do that exactly, public and private, and we do that in higher education. Why don't we do it in public education? And at this point, if we can't all agree as a culture what a boy or a girl is, or whether or not my student's going to be taught by a drag queen today, we cannot agree to even operate a public school together. And so I think it's time that public schools go by the wayside. If we're gonna have this bifurcation and this culture of two different views of the world that are fundamental, even down to are you a boy or a girl, and the fluidity of that, then we need to just shut down schools. And school choice. Here, Mr. Parent, Mrs. Parent, take your kid. Send them to a private school, Christian school. They'll teach traditional values.
Or public school.
Here, liberal parent. Yeah. You can send your kids to a school that's taught by drag queens. So go for it. That's the only solution, because otherwise we're going to be butting heads about these issues. I mean, because you're talking about your kids now. People will fight to the death for their kids.
Right.
And so you don't. So we're at that point now where school systems are at a crisis if this stuff doesn't get resolved, and it can't get resolved.
Yeah, but
so school choice. That's the only solution.
Okay, but we've poured billions of dollars into public schools in this city.
Yeah.
They're remarkably failing. Mm-hmm. In Louisville specifically, failing.
Over $2 billion.
And compared to other nearby counties, they're failing. It not only affects those kids, which is awful, it also affects you for generations to come because they're uneducated.
Right.
So there is a certain amount of this community raising that you have to have to raise everybody to the top. Hold on, just back to Tom real quick. Just to reference what you said a second ago about transgenders and school choice, is a huge problem for some people. What's interesting to me is when we talk about stronger schools and we talk about wanting. I mean, have you ever heard a teacher say, "I don't want a parent involved"? Until recently,
yeah.
Until recently, though,
yeah. I also have.
I mean, it's a real issue.
I got
now.
my kids into private school back when my 48-year-old was 11.
I remember going to a public school and my teachers telling my parents, "Look, if you can't be involved, this is not going to work." And they just, they've just
good
sucked
teachers
that
understand
away.
that dynamic. Yeah,
Sure.
a lot of it's administrations and unions.
I ran into a situation where I was told by a principal that I could take my kids out and take them to a private school if I wanted to. So, and she
you reminded her you're paying her salary.
She knew who she was talking to because I'm a janitor. I'm standing there with a bunch of keys on my side like the average janitor,
Right.
Yeah. I got the keys to the building,
Yeah.
And she was looking at me. She didn't think I would do it.
Yeah, people don't even realize why public schools were even invented.
But we walked on her. We walked off. She doesn't know what she created.
Do you know why?
She created a beast
Hey,
that
Rick,
has been speaking up for parental choice and charter schools and vouchers and all of that.
That's right.
For the last 40, that's when that woman planted that seed.
She
that
awakened
created
the monster.
this beast before you now.
That's right. That's
that
right.
will not relent
Yeah.
on parental choice and charter schools.
You know what population, what the demographic really supports that more than anybody in this city? It's African Americans.
Yeah.
You put that issue in front of African Americans and go, yeah, I think that's the way to handle education. I'm tired of these. I'm tired of these terrible schools that our kids are going to. Yeah.
Brown v. Board of Education. People have this idea that Brown v. Board of Education was about integration. It was not. It was about Plessy versus Ferguson, which was separate but equal decision that was passed down in 1896 by the Supreme Court, stating that the states could treat their citizens differently as long as they treated them equally. Well, that never happened. And so the schools, school boards all over the country were not equally dividing,
resources. And
we were paying taxes. Black folks were paying taxes either through their property taxes or through the rents they were paying to people that did pay property taxes.
That's right.
For the education of their children.
That's right.
My mother taught at Old Central High School, used to be at 9th and Chestnut. And I was a little boy, I was about 4 years old. I remember this very well because it was wintertime. And I asked her, why did they close down the window and put all the rubber stuff in the corners if the bricks are missing from around the window? That's how badly the Louisville Free Public School System was taking care of Central High School.
Terrible.
They had windows where there were bricks missing around the windows.
Yeah.
And I could stand there with my little 4-year-old eyes and see downtown Louisville.
Yeah. It's time to blow it up. I hate to say it, but I think the public school system needs to end. I'll tell you what.
Hang on.
Go ahead.
It was
over
tax money.
It was tax
money. It
money.
was never over integration. Integration was the tool.
Yeah.
By which we were supposed to achieve the access to our tax money. Over time, everybody shifted their focus from tax money to integration being the object.
It always comes.
But when we come back to school choice, Milton Friedman's idea about school choice, all of a sudden the number one issue comes back into focus,
right?
Which is the parents and the children who are paying the taxes have an opportunity for their tax money to benefit their children.
That's it. That's a beautiful.
And that
thing.
brings it right back to ground zero.
That's right.
And that's what the Democratic Party fights so hard against. They don't want it to go back to remember, the Democrat Party was the party of segregation.
That's right. Yeah. And centralized control, and at this point they want indoctrination as part of the rule. They don't want to let kids out of their grips. They want to mold them to this new mindset of.
That's how we've gotten to where we're at.
They want the kids
exactly right. It's why half
the
these kids
to tell on their mothers and fathers.
That's
Big
right.
Brother.
Yeah, they want to make good little woke robots, and it's a mess. So education is a huge issue. Public schools need to Really, they need to end. I hate to. It sounds radical, but I don't know what else you do. And it's tragic to say it because public schools are one of the few things that help bring a culture and a society, community together on some level. We used to because honestly, we used to have shared values that we all agreed on. Some fundamental things we all agreed on, and about we all love the country. Yes, great. Let's teach pride in America.
Except
we can't even agree on
all.
that.
Now we don't all.
We don't. So now we need to have two different cultures that bifurcate. We have American loving, conservative parents and kids that have their own schools. We have America hating, schools with parents that don't care if their kids are boys or girls or whatever. They can go over there and great. Let's have these two little worlds. Okay, but let's see which thrives.
What kind of city are we going to have after that, though?
It's what we got. It's what we got now.
I don't have.
It's only going to get worse.
Exactly right.
I think it's.
But see, one is not sustainable and one is, and you can't let the bad culture drag down the rest. And so it's to a point where you want to believe that, go on over there, go, but don't take my kids with you. I'm not going to let you take my kids with me.
Right.
And so, what else you do? I mean, I don't know.
I don't know.
I think there's a place for public schools because I believe in the powerful instrument, that energy of competition.
Yeah.
And let public schools follow their own weight.
That's right. Exactly.
If parents are choosing all over the city and all over the country.
There we go.
That, so my children's pronouns are he and she.
Yeah, but
since that's where you're going, I'm gonna go over here to this school or that school, and let the competition determine.
That'd change their tune real quick when they realize
and all of a sudden public school
70% of our kids are now going to private schools. We better change our tune real quick. Yeah, exactly.
And public school will become public school, and it will stop.
Right.
Teachers that have weird beliefs will stop indoctrinating children with their weird beliefs.
That's right.
I wonder
if because economically it has shut them down. Certainly the economic pressures.
I was going to say, minus charter schools, I wonder if people could actually have their money back and could decide where they wanted to send their kids. If they would send them to a private school. Because at that point, now as a parent, you have to be invested, not only financially, but emotionally and physically into your child's life.
This generation of people you couldn't trust them with the money.
I understand what you're saying. Vouchers, whatever. The point being,
I disagree with
my
that.
bigger point is that I'm not sure that parents want the commitment of actually having to raise their children.
Yeah, they do.
They do.
They've had it beaten out of them. You're not welcome.
They've had
here.
it.
You're not welcome here.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, let's move on from school. That's a great conversation. We ought to do a whole show on that soon. Let's go to Mayor Bill. What is his platform here? Let's see this. Here's his website. Ready for day one. News and notes, career. He's for folks that don't know this, he's the mayor of J-Town, a very successful mayor of J-Town, and that's great to have somebody that already knows the job on some level. Public safety is one of it. So both the Greenberg and DeRoof, their top item is public safety. So they know this city is upset about that issue, and we want a mayor to really address it. So how is he going to address it? Let's look at. Number one priorities will be to public safety. We must reduce violent crime. Goals ensure all residents feel safe at home. I'd like to know what he feels about how to get the police force, get the morale back up. So anyway, so public safety is a big issue. He's got a lot to say here.
He did have something there about parents in West End.
Yeah, something about, I saw that and I was
sleeping in
bathtubs. About bathtubs. I'm like, what in the world?
That's something I remember from Chicago.
Where's this?
There it is.
There it is, right there.
When talking with families in the West End, I've learned that some parents have their children sleep in their bathtubs to protect them from the stray bullets that enter their homes in their area. This is not acceptable. Children should not have to live in fear.
That's right.
And the answer to that is that we stop the low or no bail situations that are happening.
That's right.
And
so we're doing that in the city. We drop the bail limit and
maybe to a lesser degree than other places.
Yeah.
But for some reason, we have our murder rates have gone up. For some reason, violent crime has gone up.
Who's our DA? Do we have like a Soros-backed DA here or something? I should know this. Evan, look up who our DA is and see if he's a radical leftist like a lot of these other cities.
And don't forget, we've got I think we might have one or two running.
Really, for DA?
At least one running. Is a name I don't know.
All right.
Good-looking young fella.
Okay.
You know, just looks, you'd vote for him to be president.
All right. Economic development is another one of his topics here. Job creation, education. Let's look at economic development or see what he's got going on there. So we've got, where'd it go? Public safety, where'd it go? Okay. Read more. Okay. I've lost it.
Entrepreneurs, hold on.
Where did I lose it? Okay.
Below some of my economic development.
His website's a bit
best practices call for collaboration of private sector and government.
Yep, that's right.
Maybe.
Regulatory process must be effective and efficient.
I'd like to have government out of it as much as possible.
I agree.
Regulatory process must be effective and efficient, which is what the government does, is regulate you and make you less effective and
That's
less
right.
effective.
So,
Entrepreneurs, small business are important economic engines. That's true.
yeah, at
If
least you're
government doesn't get in
recognizing
the
that.
way.
Yeah, at least you're just recognizing this.
Right.
And I just trust generally a Republican to handle those issues better than Democrats, just for the instinct to deregulate and
Yeah.
instinct to be more
Because the
pro-business.
Democrats are going to bring some kind
Yeah.
of justice into it.
What was he
That's
before
right.
mayor?
I think he ran a hardware store. Is
I
he part of
don't
the?
know.
Is he part of the DeRoof
The
hardware?
DeRoof,
Is
yeah,
he?
the DeRoof, yeah.
Yeah,
I
in
recognize
J-Town.
the name.
Yeah, there's
but
a
I don't
DeRoof
know.
hardware. I think maybe he's tied to that. I don't know. So education. Let's see, providing students with a great start, relevant learning, and career education. See if he has school choice in here. Wouldn't it be great if he had school choice? So, Bill, if you're watching, we need you to come on the show.
Say something about school choice.
Yeah, say something about preschool programs. Students must be prepared for learning opportunities in high school. Importance of making relevant.
I guess it's something as mayor of J-Town you didn't have to deal a lot with.
Yeah.
The mayor of J-Town, what?
He didn't have to deal with school choice.
Well, it's Jefferson County.
Well, he's
schools,
got-
Yeah, it's
so
Jefferson
Yeah, it's
County
just Jefferson
schools.
County schools, and
I'd like to hear
the
his position
schools
on
out
that.
there, I think, are probably
Yeah.
that you're different with. You're dealing with parents out in that part of town. You got lawyers, you got
No, I get
doctors,
it.
you got people who might have a little clout.
So, Evan,
Yeah.
who's our DA here?
Evan, did you ever find the DA?
Yeah, I found it. It's Thomas B. Wine, and he is.
Yeah, Tom Wine.
Democrat. Okay.
Yeah, who's
Well,
running?
of course he would be, I guess.
Yeah, of
That
course.
makes
It's
sense.
a
You're not gonna-
one-party
running,
town. It's going to
right.
be a Democrat. Yeah.
Who's running for that right now?
Who's running for it? Evan?
Wait a minute. I might be talking about a general attorney general.
Well, look that up, Evan, and just figure
Yeah.
that out. And also, let's
'Cause
prep
that's
some
where
of
the
these
Soros
videos.
candidates would be coming in.
Yeah, probably. I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah. And let's also prep some of these videos. We're also going to show some video of the mayor's forum that was held a few weeks ago. Actually, there's a recent one that just
Yeah,
was
week
held a
or
couple
two
nights
ago,
ago. But we're going to show some clips of the different candidates talking about their race and their position. So when tell you what, Evan, let's just skip to that. Let's go right to those clips. So can you play that first clip of the mayor's forum? And is this DeRoof or is this Greenberg?
Is this the one that was recent, or is this from
I
about a
think
week
this
ago?
is a week or so ago. This is the first one, I believe.
Okay.
So is this Greenberg or DeRoof, Evan?
You're talking about how safety is a top issue.
Here we go.
in the campaign.
Let's go for it.
Louisville is imploding right now, and everybody is looking for what the next thing is going to happen. This weekend was horrendous, and we can't have this anymore. So the top priority of anybody in this campaign, anybody in this room, is safety, safety, safety. And because I am an experienced mayor for 12 years, I understand how to run a police department. I have a chief that will be coming with me downtown in some capacity. I understand on day one what that means. I understand that we also have to have the economic development in the future for this community to grow, for this community to survive, to bring the people here to work here. And to do that, we have to have the education out there for the kids to learn. And that starts at preschool and ends after high school to going into college and the trades. So as I look to the future of this community, I want to say, let's quit following those that we want to be like. Let's quit being the second class of cities. Let's start being the first class of city that we are. I was at a function one time with Denny Crum, who was in the room, and I said, Denny, have you ever gone to a championship game and said, I want to come in second? It's time Louisville stops saying, I want to be like Indianapolis, I want to be like Nashville. I want to be the leader that others want to follow. I want to be like Louisville. So let's look and take what they have, and let's make it better and make Louisville the city that everybody will be proud of, that you'll want your grandkids to grow in the future.
Good stuff. I really agree with that. And hey, Evan, turn off the closed captioning, by the way, when you run those. He does. Let's see what Greenberg says about the safety issue. I think Greenberg has a similar comment.
We have huge challenges across this city, starting with public safety. We need to work together on these challenges, that even when we disagree, that's okay. Because together, we can accomplish great things. We can accomplish great things in Louisville, make this a safe city, bring down the amount of violent crime. We can improve education by starting with universal pre-K, so every 3- and 4-year-old has an opportunity to succeed. We can address our homeless crisis and build more affordable housing together. These are things that we can do when we work together with business community, with the public sector, with organized labor, with members of the community throughout the city. And I'm excited to have this opportunity to run for mayor, and I'm more excited to be your next mayor of Louisville. Thank you all very much for having us here today.
You know what's sad about that, Tom? He should have just held up the sweater and said, "This is why we need public safety."
Exactly.
He should have just held up the sweater
That's right.
and said, "This is why this city is unsafe." I got shot.
That's right. Yeah, I got shot
I would have
in my office.
I would have.
But he won't say that. You know why he won't say it?
Because the policies he's going to promote.
That's right.
Will continue that fear.
That's right.